Hey everyone, I'm putting together a video here to show a couple different things that we're going to be doing on this cue. I'm going to be working with a PureX Quad Threat Break stick. These come with a rubber, like a sport golf grip, quite thick. You can see the rubbers are actually gone. We're left with a foam base. So we're going to replace that with Irish linen. Due to the size thickness, we actually need to do a build-up to get that to the appropriate channel depth. Shaft is in good condition, just needs a little cleanup, a couple small dents, and you can see up by the ferrule, the dirt. Customer just wants that cleaned up. And then the tip, we're going to replace that, the phenolic bait-like tip with a Taom 2.0. I'm going to start with a quick overview of the little shop here and what we're going to be needing. First to start, we're starting with the lathe I'm using is a mid-size Q-Smith by Chris Hightower down in Atlanta. And for the this job, we're going to start with needing some Bondo, razor blade, sandpaper, and an extremely important piece is this just dust collection system, which is just a 5-gallon bucket with an attachment and a shop vac. Since we're going to be working with the Bondo to build up, it gets pretty dusty, so that's an important piece. So I've got this chucked up because it's a brake jump. I could take the top half off, make it a little closer to work with. I'm not going to reduce any of this video. I'll just speed up some of the more boring shots, skip over the drying time. So we're going to start by working on getting this foam off. The PureX grips, these Lucasi does the same thing. They're not quite as bad. The PureX is got a rubber overlay on this foam. The rubber comes off real easy. The foam does not. So let's see what this gets to. I said I'm just going to speed up some of these boring shots where it takes a while. Hopefully this just kind of peels off. It's starting to. That's a good sign. Really gonna just cut this down. If it gets old and disintegrated, it's really a mess. This is going really nice. So this is awesome. A lot of times you'll have a lot of foam left, a lot of glue left. So there it popped. That's fine. So that's the actual splice. Just dig in there. Start pulling there. You can start seeing it. What I was talking about. The nasty stuff we're gonna have to clean up. That's not bad though. I'd say that cleaned up really came out pretty good. A couple of foam tufts left here. But we'll get this cleaned up. Just gonna use some sandpaper. And that came loose. Probably just gonna use some like 150. Go over it and see if we can get some of this glue. I want to get this pretty smooth. The cleaner the surface, the better the Bondo is going to stick to it. Looks like it cleaned up pretty good. Next step is putting some protection on because we're going to be ready for Bondo. So I'm going to clean up this dust real quick. Feels good. Use some nice thick painter's tape. We're gonna wrap both these ends. Gonna prevent as much Bondo as possible from getting on the actual finish. Bondo cleans up pretty good and pretty easy. It scrapes right off, but shit, I don't want to really spend my time scraping and cleaning off Bondo if I don't have to, right? So, and I'm just gonna leave a little thin black line exposed. Tells me I'm nice and close. And when I peel this off, the Bondo will just pop right off with it. So. Once it's all the way wrapped, just tuck that back so you don't over wrapped. Make sure your finish on these things isn't flaking at all. Painter's tape, pull it off, and last thing you want to do once you get done doing all the paid work is having to refinish a cue because you pulled the finish off. That's that. Next we're going to mix up some Bondo. Use acrylic. Any hard surface. I like the Bondo. It cleans up easy, it sands easy, it's easy to work with, dries quickly. There is the odor to be, so well ventilated area, mask recommended, of course. Basically, I'm going to use a stir stick, king of spades, and that's going to be what we're going to use to smear it on. So I'm going to tilt this a little. I'll show the mixing. Get out a couple good globs, smear it on my plate here. Add the hardener, mix it up, and we'll apply it. And this is going to take several. I mean, we're going to 4-ish, give or take. Coats of Bondo, sand it down. Coat of Bondo, sand it down. It's a process. It's a process, you know. It's not a lot of work. It's a lot of time, though. Basically, we're applying and then waiting. Sanding, applying, and waiting. So, mix my hardener in there, and we'll get this to a consistent color. Alright, so we're gonna let this dry. We'll come back. We'll take down some high points, and we'll reapply another layer. Hang on. All right, looks like we're back. Pretty dry. It's a nice thing about Bondo, like I said, about 15 minutes drying time. I'm gonna take some 100 grit, sorry, 150, and just take down some of these high points. So when we apply the next layer of Bondo, it doesn't get holes and gaps. So I'm gonna turn on the dust collector, take that same 150 grit, and you know, we're not looking for a super smooth finish, just some of these high points. Like I said, just so we can get that Bondo into some of those crevices. Alright, we mix up another batch of Bondo, apply, and come back. Alright, we're gonna let this dry, come back, see where we're at. We'll take the tape off the next layer and do some cleanup there and see how close we are to getting to the height of the rest of the queue. Probably need one more thin layer. We'll do real good cleanup next time, and then see where we're at. Yeah, let's see where we're at. It's dried up pretty good. Said I'm gonna take this tape off. This is looking pretty good. So most important piece is the edges. It's where the linen's going to go. You know, if this is a little low or a little high, a couple little, you know, imperfections, the linen covers it. You won't feel it. So as soon as I find I'm going to take a razor blade. We're going to get that to a nice flat surface. And we'll be back. All right, dried up. Use the cutting tool to take off the high pieces. Then sand it down again. See where we're at. It's a little high there, so I'm just going to take this down a little bit more. Just use 220. I don't want to take a lot off. You want to get as close as you can, but and I can feel that a little bit. That's good. So just clean this up a little bit more. Just a damp wash, paper towel. Just get this dust off of it. Try to clean these rings up a little bit more. Not terribly important. We're using a little black magic marker on each edge. To cover up any kind of gapping. Make it really not visible at all. Pull my Sharpie. Cleaned up. I don't want any dust around when I'm doing the linen. Get the linen dirty, yuck. And then we'll be done with the butt. So, hang out. All right, we're back. Cleaned everything up, wiped everything down, washed my hands. We're ready to do the linen wrap. I already taped the ends. What we're going to use is I have an Uhu stick of glue. I'm going to spread this on. A little spray water. Our linen. I'm going to do black with white. Something to hold the linen. I just use a leather glove. You can use a tube of like latex. You don't want that. You're going to spin the linen through your fingers. You don't want it raw. That could go right through your skin. So a razor blade and a little bit of QX to start with. We're also going to use a press. I just use a hard oak scissor press and some spray starch. The customer doesn't want this extremely smooth. Linen's wax based. You can make that as smooth or as textured as you want. As a break stick, she just didn't want it slipping out of her hand. So I'm going to start. Nice thing about the Q-Smith sleighs is I have a foot pedal that attaches so I can, and it runs in reverse, so as I can give this a nice slow power to spin this on. So I'm going to start with a little glue here, spread this on, a couple squirts of water, keep it moist. Make sure you get the ends real well. Turn the glue as you go so you don't get any divots. Great, so there's the glue. Couple squirts of water just to keep it moist while you're working this. The glue will dry and start getting tacky in like 15 minutes or so, 10 minutes. So not a lot, just moist. So I'm gonna cut off about 4 inches of the linen wrap. Maybe 6 inches. All right, we're gonna set this aside. We're gonna use this at the end. I use the slip methods. You can use a drill method. It's totally up to you. So we're gonna start. This is rolling this way, so that's the way we want this to go on. So I'm gonna slip this around, move it in close to the collar. And we're just going to leave a little bit out and just start pushing this a bit tight. It's overlapped. As I get a little bit in, just starting to push this back as far as I can. As I get like 2 or 3, I'm going to pause and just give this all a good nudge back. Butter knife is really nice for this. Just kind of push this all back. Put some tension on. Use your thumb even. Go this way. Starting point's pretty important. Once we get that all tight, you know, I'm just putting some pressure on as I'm pushing this in. A little bulge, that'll go away when we press it. So once I get about, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these things, I'm gonna cut that. So give this a good push in. Take my razor blade and just put it right up next to where I was and give it a press down. All right, I'm gonna put my glove on. And we're just gonna try to put some pressure, back pressure on as this spins, and we're gonna spin nice and easy to begin with, and hope we don't get a lot of overlaps. There's an overlap already. We just unwind and rewind. It's finding the right amount of back pressure that you don't go over, but you still allow, you know, the tightness. Get a good gap like that, just pause. See if you can work it back in. Small gaps you get worked out at the end. But anything large like that, see what you can do to get that push back in. Some linen goes on real easy, some you just do it by hand. It's actually faster. We're on a roll. That's all right. That's good. As I get about half an inch away, a little bit more. So this is where that extra thread's going to come in. What we're going to do is create a loop and put it under, wax it, so that once we finish off, we'll pull the extra thread back through. So I'm going to take a little bit of Q-wax here, just put it on my finger, and just wax the middle section of this real good. I want this real lubricated. Create that loop, and we just tuck it under here. Let me just finish off by hand. Again, you want a lot of, every once in a while you just give a little back pressure pull. The ends are pretty important, in my opinion. Especially around that loop, you can get some separation. As you get nice and tight in here, try and pull that in. Really work that in. I'm just going to overdraw this by a couple inches, like there. Give a little snip. A little snip. Again, we wax. We want to wax that entire piece. Where we want it to go. Good and lubed. We're going to put this through this loop. And then what you're going to do is like really give that a good tug while maintaining some pressure on this last piece. You get that in there real good. Get that to where it's about to go in. If you pull slow, you're stuck. So give it a good yank. A couple good yanks. There it goes. So you get that right through. Now, kind of move these back out. Just our finger, just kind of creating that space. Because what I want to do is cut right in there. And you want to cut straight, parallel to the rest of the threads. You don't want to cut what the hell you just did. I'm looking right down in there, and I see the gap, and I see where that thread is, and again, I'm just pushing straight down. Cut that thread, and there's a little gap there. All we need to do is push from either side. Linen's it's round when it goes on. So any gaps, which we're just going to see, like I can see one here, we're just going to spread these out on either side to make it smaller gaps. So when we press it, we go from round to flat, so it's going to fill in some of these gaps. But I'm looking for any big ones right now. Make sure we're tight to the edges. It's all budged up a little overlay. It's okay, we can push those back down. So just some quick scans. And we're also going to look for any real bad burrs. For that, breaking off a nice piece, sharp piece here. And all you need to do is just, that's why you want it sharp. Real gentle, real gentle. Most of these will flatten down, but any big ones, get them out of there. Next gap, just push those over. Just shave, just a little bit, just a little bit. You don't want to cut through those. It's still a lot of work. Any big ones. Now you're going to feel this is still quite rough. You can hear it. The next step is, we're done. Linen's on, it's secure. We can take this wrap off. It's definitely up on the edges, and that's great because we're going to press that right into it. Definitely want to make sure you can feel it over the edge. Our next step, we're just going to wet this down real good. Saturate it. And then we're going to press it. So again, Irish linen's wax based. There's wax already built into it. So we're going to use water to soften it. And then the linen press, the oak, we're going to use to create heat and pressure. Yeah, just soaking this. A good time to just go over the edges, get any glue that went on. Just soak it. You know, this will look really dark as I'm doing it, but when it dries up, that white will come back out. Just saturate it. Good and wet, yeah. I got some piece of oak, cut it in half, put a hinge on it, and this is what we're going to use. Just press. Right. I already feel it's really gotten quite flat. You don't want to go too close to the edges. You want to go over the finish. You can just take a butter knife and just get a little bit more meticulous. Doing the same thing, just putting pressure. You'll feel it heat up on this side, so that's what you want. Definitely want to feel that heat. You know, that is nice. And we're just about done. Last thing we need to do, just a little spray starch. And we'll press it one more time lightly. Spray starch will help stiffen it up. And you can see some of the color come off, but that's all right. We're just gonna wipe out our press here and press it again. Not a ton of pressure. It feels good. Some water. Get some of that starch up. Clean it up. That's it. We're gonna take a look at that. Make sure nothing's like wacky. I don't feel any burrs. Ends feel good. Yeah, we take a look at this now. Give a good light as best I can here. It looks very, very dark. That white will dry out. So what I do is actually have a fan that I'm going to put this on. I'm going to let this dry, but the butt, the wrap is done. I just need to put it back together once it's dry. So we'll check in then. All right, we're going to be putting a new tip on this and doing some cleanup. You can see some scratches there, a little press in there. Felt a dent down here. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of mark up all these spots that I'm going to try to pull out. Just take a pencil and just mark them up if I need to. There's a nick there. What we're going to do is just take an iron, some water, paper towel, and steam them back out. You'll see those, like people say use a shot glass, or they have those glass rubbing tools. Don't do that. You're really just compressing the rest of the wood down to the size of the dent. And what you're doing with water and steam is injecting steam into the spot to pull that dent back out, to swell the wood back out to its natural position. If you press down, you'll actually feel a divot in there. So I'm going to come back once this is all marked up, and we'll steam these dents out. We'll get it cleaned up, smoothed out, and then we'll put the new tip on. All right, I'm back. Got it marked up. You can see pencil mark, pencil mark, pencil mark. So marked up the heavy dings. You're not going to need to mark up the scratches, just the little nicks. More of the depressions. Got my iron heated up, paper towel, and some water. And really, I'm just going to lay the paper towel over the mark and try to target the steaming directly into these marks. So, the top one. Depending how deep it is, how much steam needs to go in there. Just go all around there so that you're not swelling one area. You do have steam machines you could get, little steam machines, little steam injectors. Amazon, those would probably work really well. I have this little veneer iron, nice, it's easy to handle. Amazon again. Heat it up to about 400 degrees. Create a good steam batch. You just feel over it. How close are we? This is a good depression. I don't even know how close we'll get. We'll try to get a lot of it out for her. Smooth it up real good, and then move on to the tip. Hang on. All right, we're gonna start by cleaning this. There's a couple different methods. You can use the shaft cleaners that they have out there. They're like gritty, real dirty. I kind of like the magic erasers. They have just a slight abrasion to them, and they get real good into like some of this stuff. You can see how dirty that is. So, yeah. See how this does. I need a couple. You can see getting all that blue out already. Not a ton of pressure, just pressure. Medium. Move that around. I just tear half the sheet off the thin. Go this way. Pretty dark right now, and even that still. I might try to pop that out a little more. Put my iron back on. So now going this way, the grains are this way. This way I'm going this way with it. Take some of that out right in there. See how that's coming out? I don't know if you can see it. Really lightening up. Spinning it this way, it gets the shaft pretty good. You can see that. It's these really, dark areas. Put too much pressure that will tear this up. Just work it out. You can't really even see those pencil marks. They're pretty much gone. Comes off of this. Just give this a once over all the way down. Look for some bad spots. Get that out. And my iron's getting close. Try to steam this a little bit more. Said this one was bad. I did lighten up some, a lot. You can see that. I'm going to zoom in on that spot. So I'm up here with the camera for a second. Yeah, that's what we're working on. Alright. Probably about as much wood that can give us. So, let this dry a little. We'll let this dry and then we'll sand it, buff it. We'll see how that scratch does. It's really, it came out a lot. So we're gonna let the rest of this dry. A very light sanding, not to take anything off. It really takes just any burrs. We start at like 800, see where that gets us. It's probably enough. We'll do an acrylic and then some finishing sanding. Be back. All right, we're gonna finish up this cleaning. We're gonna start with, still feel some high pieces. So I'm gonna do 6, 8, 12, 15, 2, 25, and 3. After the 8, we're gonna do some of the Tiger shaft sealer. It's an acrylic sealer. It really fills in those gaps of wood and allows the wood to stay cleaner longer. And then we're going to finish it off with some Q-wax and a burnishing. Wipe down between. Get a feel. Any high spots? There's some in there. Just gonna hit that area again. $800. It's getting smooth. I'm going to use half of this because I'm going to use the other half. Always want clean paper. Use the other half, take off, seal it. So 800 on the seal. Just want to see it wet. stuff dries pretty quick, couple seconds really, 30 seconds. You definitely want to buff this off. You just want it to be in the pores, not on the shaft itself. It's a little tacky if you leave it on there. Turn your hand over until that's dry. You feel it dry. But not long. Then I'm going to use this other head. Now what you're seeing coming off there, that's actually just the residue. It's not wood anymore. Nice and smooth, wipe it down. And we just crank through the rest of these. 1200. Wipe it down. 15. And move this. You don't want to get dirty paper on there. Creates marks. That's why you wipe it down too. 2000. And this is just buffing it. This is just to get it smooth. We ain't taking anything off of that. Wipe it down. 2500. Better than new, I'll tell you that. You can't even hear this one going over, it's just taking it to a high shine. Like it's nothing. Last step. Cleaning. Oops, a little bump, sorry. Use a little Q wax from Q Smith there, the Q Man. Good waxing all the way down. Apply a nice even coat, even as we can, all the way down. This thing will give it such a smooth feel. Get that feel again. You gotta see me. Just give that a 20 seconds there to kind of tack up. And I use the light. You still see it's kind of dull in certain areas. So I'm just gonna hold my leather burnisher at high speed, just apply some heat, just to buff that wax in and off. And when I see the high shine, looks good. A little heat, a little pressure, not a lot of pressure. Not too concerned with the ferrule since we're doing the tip, but I could use a little polishing compound to get that to a high shine too. That's smooth. Should be able to see a lot of shine in that. Move that light around. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a second coat. I really don't. That's work. I'm good. Take that. Oh man. Let's see how we did with that neck. Not bad. You can't feel it. That's the thing. You can see the shine right over it, so that dirt is embedded, but no longer feel it. I'd be happy. So we're going to move on to the tip. Hang on. All right, we're going to install Taom 2.0 blue tip to replace this Bakelite factory install tip. So we're going to first just grind off using the cutting tool, get that tip down, sand both edges, cut a groove to create more of a place for the glue to go. Glue it on, shave it up, buff it out, send it on its way. Here we go. I cut a couple grooves, one right in the center. There's a place for the glue to go. And just take some sandpaper and just touch it. Again, I'm not trying to get that flat, it's already flat. Just trying to get any burrs off. Good. Wipe it down with a little alcohol. Dry it off. Give it a little blow. Help hold the glue. What I've done is sand the back side of this. Put some heavy scratches into it. Again, a place for the glue to hide out. And we're just going to put up a lathe here, tuck that in, get our centering tool in place. Put a, oops, sorry. Wait. Put a heavy bolt of glue. Loctite super gel, and I'm going to slide this in place, spin it so it gets all over, put some pressure in, and wipe this off, make sure I'm on there, should be centered. And I'm wiping away from the stick, up into it. Wipe onto the stick. Use I'm going to buff this out so it's nice and clean at the end. Carbon fiber, something that's like you don't have, oops, sorry, the ability to buff. Use vinyl tape. Get it real close and pull it off as soon as you wipe it down. You don't want to glue the tape onto the ferrule, for goodness sake. Brake tips, I mean, I'll leave these for a minute or two to really like set that glue up. I mean, it's 15 to 20 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that for the Loctite. All right, we're gonna shave this down. Not gonna use the cutting tool to. It's just such a small ledge. You want to leave a little bit. I'm going to wiggle this camera on the side. Test it. Let me get this out of the way. For this next piece, you want to use a nice fresh razor. worth it. It's gonna make your job easier. Nice clean razor. And we're just gonna shave that so it's flush with the ferrule. Putting pressure in, not a ton. Can always take more off, right? So you go past this a couple times. Acrylic's tough. Brake tips are tough. What I do is I use a small angle down, but I'm not pushing in. I'm pushing and pulling across. Get that edge real good because that's where all the glue is. You gotta be extra glue will come out. Just a little pressure in, a little pressure down. Take your time. It's easier to do one tip than two. At a 30-degree angle, typically what I find. Getting closer. See a little bulge still right near the ferrule. All that will get cleaned up when I sand. You can feel it. You can feel a ledge. Do a little more. A lot of pressure here, but little angle. Nice and slow. I'm watching the top. I'm watching the top to make sure I don't go down really well. Probably about as big as I'm getting. That's what it looks like. Not cleaned up. So now we use a little sandpaper and water. Use up real nice. Water, a little buffing. 600, lightly 600. We don't want to take anything off, we just want to knock down any birds. Focus more on the tips. I want to blend it to the ferrule. I want that to be like factory smooth. Not a lot of pressure. Keep that water on there. I already see big difference. We're in the 800. You're on the let it. Feel it. Is there a ledge? Yeah, the focus is on the tip, but these PureX is going to clean up that carbon fiber ferrule. Make that shine too. Make it one piece. Feel a little ledge. Drop it back down to 600. Just to clean up that ledge between the two. Yep, done. Back to 8. This type of stuff is 1200. not going onto the shaft. I already did the shaft, right? So that's done. I finish with a little polishing compound at the end. Makes that sucker shine. Nice. All along the tail. Just wipe up. Some pressure in there. I like that. How it shines up. Nice. I don't feel anything between the two. Nice high shine. That's what I'm looking for. Now we just need to shape it. To a nickel. I have a shaping template on my cutting tool on my post. Nice and straight in there. Lock it. Good tight. I don't use this to shape. Use a razor. This is my template. So round it. Use it fairly. Well, you get a couple uses out of this. Good. And the last thing I'm going to do is just hit the tip with some coarse sandpaper. Just to allow some chalk to hold. Just a little. Just a little. Look it down. Now I do an inspection right around the looking for any gaps, feeling around, make sure it's smooth. Run my nail over it. Can I get my nail in there? If so, it's like that is part of the carbon fiber. It's not glue hanging out. You definitely want to see if there's glue hanging out. If there is, there could be a gap in there. I don't see any gaps. It feels awesome. I feel a little ledge there. You can hear it. I want to buff that out. Run your finger over it, nothing. That looks great. That's it. We've now done the butt. Place the sport grip wrap on a PureX. Clean the shaft. And put a new Taom 2.0 brake tip on. Thanks. Hope it's helpful. I don't know. See? We're going to take one more look at this. You can see how the weight really came out. Well, that shaft. Clean and shiny. Telling you, better than new. Smoother. And then a nice new Taom 2.0 tip. Zoom out. There we go. Finished product.